2019 Porsche 911 GT3 RS meets its parents at the Isle of Man. A line of Porsche 911 GT3 RS cars, spanning several generations, splays out along the narrow 2-lane road. The Isle of Man is damp, rain sputters against the grassy hills, and as we climb Snaefell mountain road, each car in succession is obliterated by fog. Suddenly, I'm alone in the oldest and most precious of the lot, an original 2.7 rupees, feeling my way up the mountain at a snail's pace, peering ahead at the massive RS wings swimming in and out of the mist. There'd be breaks in the weather in the day ahead to rip the mountain air in short delicious bursts, but first I had to get out of this fog without punting any sheep, or worse. The original 911 2.7 rupees is a screamer, or at least it was in its day. By the standards of its descendants, it's almost sedate. And there's no real comparison to its explosive, searingly green successor, a 2019 Porsche 911 GT3 RS with the Weissach Package, which is the main event, or at least, it would have been, with dry roads and a guy named Mark Higgins to chase around the island. But this is no place to push the limits, when you can't see 25 feet in front of your bumper. Instead, we'll take a step back and observe the bigger picture of what it means to be an RS model and what the future holds for the 911. Last year, to celebrate the 1 millionth 911 produced, Porsche assembled a similar parade of important 911 models and let them loose upon Scotland's back roads. It was one of those instantly indelible experiences, jumping from one 911 to another, backwards and forwards through time. The 911 plumped up over the years, throwing more power at the weight problem and attempting to subtract where possible. The 1985 911 Carrera Club Sport, perhaps the ultimate mid-1980s non-turbo, pinched ounces everywhere and wore exotic lightweight bodywork. But it was no RS. Even though many years separated the 2.7 rupees from the next car in the series, an indirect successor, the 996 GT3 RS, the defining character of the original is immediacy, directness. The 85 Club Sport was a wonderful car to drive, but even that car lacked the electric verve of the 2 rupees and 70 paise. There's a reason real 2.7 RSs command serious money, besides their rarity and homologation status. GT puts an average 2.7 rupees just a hair below $700,000. Having driven a flock of classic 911s in the past few months, that kind of crazy money just about makes sense. It's an exceedingly special air-cooled 911, and it charms totally, even among the clouds it's up thrilling speeds. No modern car is so unabashedly mechanical, and the 2.7 ticks over at idle with a lumpy thrum, and screams primarily at higher RPM, a sound from another age. It took 25 years for Porsche to revisit the ideals of the 2 rupees and 70 paise. In the intervening years, some wild Porsches came out, the 930 Turbo, the 993 GT2, and some lightweight specials like the 964 Carrera RS. But it took a heretical notion to really return to form, water cooling. The infamous 996 series showed up for the 1998 model year, with a 3.4 litre flat 6 and a much criticized plasticky interior. It shared aesthetics and some mechanicals with the lower end Barkster. It was, at least at first, a questionable 911. The first 911 GT3, introduced as a 1999 model year car, made everything right with the world. Like the 2.7 rupees, it was a homologation special, infused with motorsport influences throughout. Most important, its engine was completely different from the road-going 996's unit. Both flat 6s, sure, but the Mesger engine fitted to the 996 GT3 was derived straight from motorsport, with a real dry sump oiling system and influences from the 959, 961, and 911 GT1 Le Mans prototype. The major concession to practicality was replacing the pure racing engine's 6 individual cylinder heads with a common head for each bank. It is an angry, noisy, extremely mechanical engine. It thrums and growls like a wolverine. And the first GT3 RS is all this, and more. Based on the GT3, but harder edged, as befitting the Rennsport initials. Lighter, leaner, wilder. You need to be very awake to drive an early GT3 RS on weedy roads like these. Let your attention flag for a second, and the phenomenally alive RS will decide to explore where a microscopic ridge in the pavement might take it, darting for the ditch, as if it held some fascinating treasure to discover. The analogy that kept coming to mind as the rough stone walls flew by is a lightning bolt, arcing down the road, tremendously energetic, unpredictable but exhilarating.